Welcome to spring. So Brittany took Calvin to work the other day, and well, he smells like a house dog. She's got him all cleaned up and everything, and I think she wants to enjoy that for a while before he starts riding the tractor again. So I've been feeding him these treats from GrubTerra, and he really seems to like them. I actually had to put these up on top of the refrigerator because he's actually like going after these bags compared to his other treats where he'll at least be mindful of the package.
Now, the rest of the story.
Well, it's the first day of spring, and I gotta be honest with you, it certainly feels like it. I mean, down at the valley before the clouds really roll in for the day, because they're calling for a chance of rain tonight. And even though the ground really didn't get froze, which is what I was banking on coming down here, I hauled hay all day yesterday. And the issue I have is with the rain tonight and all day tomorrow, I have the concrete cleaned off of all the hay that was stacked there, but in the ground, it's just froze enough to support the bobcat. I got a pile, the last of my hay that needs to be moved out of here. And it's a combination of stuff that I want to sell, I have to sell, and a combination of stuff that I'm gonna feed out. So really, from here that way, I believe is all stuff that for the most part I can sell for the most part. Don't really need it. Split it in half, and then everything from there over, I'll haul up to the farm and I'll have feed probably clear up to July, because the cows really aren't going through the feed. Holy cow. I don't know if you guys can see them, but look at all, I'm gonna zoom in. Look at all the turkey. Huh. I'm not much of a hunter anymore, but I still see me going deer hunting someday. But I'm gonna pick and choose. Like, I got some that settled out. You break them open and they're still good. I mean, I don't have very many that have like visibly heated on the inside. A couple, but for the most part, everything that I can move, I will move. This is the last of it that I'll be shipping out that I do. And what little bit that is up around the home farm that is still inside, I'll probably just keep for cow feed. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can't get in trouble with here. They are backing off the rain chances, and that cloudy sky we were supposed to have really isn't all that cloudy, which I'm perfectly fine with. Bring on spring. But I do have a bunch of bales pulled off of the field, the mud, just in case we do get much rain where I got to worry about more or less just getting stuck out there. But I think it's firm enough that I should be able to haul out a bunch of the feed bales, which is these few through here. I actually found more that I'm willing to put wheels under and send down the road than I thought I would. There's an awful lot of hay out there yet, and I don't think, stopping and trying to make a video, but I still don't think I'm gonna get it empty in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at between 4 and 5 loads yet. Looks like it. Which I'm not complaining by any means, because more hay, more dollars, right? I can't remember if it was 200 or 250 that'll fit in this shed. I think it was over 250 when I made them the 60-inch bales versus the 65-inch bales. Overall, I'm still getting more stacked in here, so positive thoughts. I don't know if you can see it, but Dad's putting good use to the new material bucket. So I guess that means I get mine back. That's what we've been using up here lately, is the scoop bucket that I bought for my place, so I had something to clean up dirt and manure and everything else. So, trying to get a few loads of manure out. We managed to avoid all of the snow that ended up falling north, east, and south of us. Hearing everything from 7 inches all the way up to 12 inches of snow, and they're really only calling for up to an inch. So I'd say we're fortunate. The ground is drying out, not oh my gosh, we're in a drought, but it is at least getting to the point where it's firm enough we can get around. So spreading this on soybean stubble is going to cause some compaction, but because we're going through and relaying out, well, everything at Rockville here is going to be redone. It's not going to be contoured strips anymore, but at the same time, that isn't exactly what used to be practical back when our grandparents or our forefathers were farming. I mean, they used to farm with horses, right? I don't really see us continuing that practice. And the contours, they work to a certain degree. I mean, I still plant contours, but on some farms and how they lay, it just, you're going backwards. You're not really gaining anything, I feel, when you're trying to do all these 90-degree turns and everything. But because by the time you pick up on your headlands and spin around, you're running over more crop than what it makes it worthwhile, than what you're gaining. But going through and spreading this on soybean stubble, we are going to be chiseling it up, trying to break up some of that compaction that I'm creating. Granted, I'm not making nearly as much, at least I don't feel that way, as Ryan was here a week ago when we had snow on the ground yet. Because we really didn't have much for a winter freeze. Well, we had a little bit, but as far as having a good, deep, hard freeze, we actually avoided that this year. So having compaction in the ground going forward here, a little bit of a concern. But at the same time, it's trying to get some of this manure moved out that we have from the added number of cattle we have on the farms. The home farm at Rockville here in particular, the number of cattle has doubled, not quite doubled, from what it's been in the past. And my calving date is March 15th to April 15th, or May 15th, plus or minus 5 days. It's either the 10th or the 15th. I looked it up, then I forget. It's irrelevant because I have cows that could be calving. I have one in particular that, compared to what she looked like last night when she looked like she was getting close, to what she looks like 24 hours later, I am trying to keep a pretty close eye on her. But with all the manure that these cattle, these added numbers, are adding, trying to keep the lots as clean as possible is pretty important, because once we start doing field work and planting, we really run out of places to haul. So it's always trying to find time and somewhere to spread the stuff. I mean, during the summer, I'm more willing to spread more of the finer material on on pasture ground, like I'd spread it really light. But going through and spreading out some of this fertilizer, you know, the free stuff, if you want to call it that, getting back to spreading more manure across the fields, I think, is going to be definitely more beneficial if we can avoid the compaction. As far as the cows go, I'm looking forward to having a bunch of red calves this year, as long as the bull did his job. Really haven't done much, and this will be year 4 as far as having the cattle around myself, like getting back into the pairs, you know, mama cow and baby calf. Well, that first year I decided I didn't like any of the calves out of those cows when I first bought them, because they were bred, which I really didn't know what the bulls were when they had the calves, so I wasn't really crazy about that. So I ended up selling all my heifers that first year. So that was 1 year I was out growing my cattle numbers. The second year, the reason I let them go the second year is because I didn't have the red Angus bull. So I had, once again, I had a bunch of black heifers. I mean, steers too, of course, but the heifers I had were all black Angus, or the cross, you know, the red cows and the black bull. Well, I ended up opting to let the majority of those go, because by that point we got rocky. Okay, so that means it wasn't until last year, my calving or breeding cycle from June to August was the first year I really had a bull available to put in with my cows. So my goal was for this year, I should have a bunch of red heifers, red calves, to start incorporating into my herd. And it's just trying to explain as to why my cow herd hasn't done much in the last 3 years, when if I was, I guess, more serious, which for those of you watching the channel long enough know that I saw my cows as more of a recycling system to a certain degree than, you know, a tried and true in and out depended on income source. Well, feeding more hay to my cows and moving less hay, even feeding, what is it, like a third? I penciled all this out here at one point. If I feed out like a third of the hay that I'm producing every year, I'm more than getting my money back. So that's kind of splitting my risks, as opposed to trying to sell as much as I was. And trying to get the manure hauled out up at the home farm for these guys, with the weather warming up, but calling for rain, chances of snow. Dad and Ryan's cows aren't due to start calving until, well, his cows aren't due to start calving until May. Ryan's are like first part of April. So trying to keep these guys clean, dry, warm, like well bedded, because having these calves dropping any day now, I'm just making sure I don't have any losses. That's all I got for this week's video. I'm not trying to make a liar out of myself, but fixing fence and doing more maintenance on the machinery, I was planning on doing that today because they were calling for snow, and we missed the snow, and the ground is, I'll agree, it's not ideal, but it's dry enough we can at least localize where I'm hauling all the manure, so the compaction I am creating is limited to one area, and we can go through here in another couple of weeks and get it chiseled. So I gotta get the 79 wired up for the planter and go through batteries and oil and fuel filters, clean tractors out, clean tractors off, because, you know, once we start, it's no secret, we really just we don't stop for the rest of the year, because it's just one thing after the other. So with that, I thank you for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, and most of all, subscribing. It helps, very, very much so. I really appreciate everybody that does subscribe and supports the channel. Until next time, take care. Talk to you later.